Welcome to This Week, Those Books, which is read by 8,500 subscribers in 104 countries. It's March 27th, 2024. The big story is that half the world is fasting, as it's the last week of Lent for Christians and the halfway point of Ramadan for Muslims. In an infrequent convergence, Lent and Ramadan are intersecting this year, with Christians accounting for an estimated 2.38 billion and Muslims 1.9 billion of the world's population of 8 billion, it's fair to say roughly half the world is practicing abstinence of some sort at the same time this year. The backstory is that fasting is a practice found in almost every spiritual tradition. Sometimes called a reset button for the soul, fasting has now entered popular culture, mostly as a weight loss tactic. This week's first book is The Oldest Cure in the World, Adventures in the Art and Science of Fasting by Steve Hendricks. American writer Steve Hendricks manages to encompass pretty much the whole universe of fasting, from ancient cure to 19th century experimentation to current fad, in just under 450 pages. It's quite a feat. He starts by offering modern-day examples of the way fasting can sometimes cure diseased bodies. He moves on to the poster boy of therapeutic fasting, 19th century Minneapolis doctor Henry S. Tanner. He recounts his own dabbling in fasting and delves into fasting's long pedigree, from the Vedic religion in India around 1500 BC to philosophers in ancient Greece and Christianity's fasting saints. Especially interesting is the early chapter on how Tanner, an English immigrant to America, and hailed in the press as the stomachless man, sparked worldwide interest in therapeutic fasting. It triggered attention of the sort we would describe today as going viral. Tanner's terrible task of endurance, as the papers called it at the time, was covered around the world, including in the Times of India and the West African Reporter. The second book is Fasting, Feasting by Anita Desai. This novel is about deprivation and surfeit in India and America, with both cultures, in their own way, solidifying around male dominance, female subjugation, and parental neglect. The basic storyline is simple. In small-town India, aging spinster Uma lives with her parents and is treated like a drudge. Her younger, prettier sister Aruna has married well and gone off to Bombay, while the baby of the family, Arun, the only son, is studying in America. Rituals around food speak volumes. Papa's orange must be peeled by the women in the house. Uma is denounced by her mother as a hussy for daring to enjoy a single restaurant dinner with wine and live music for the first time in her life at the invitation of Ramu, a relative. As for Arun, he is a vegetarian in an America, land of plenty, but with its culture betraying an inner paucity. Arun sees this when he lives for a time with the Pattons, an all-American family. The authoritative father barbecues meat that no one eats. The mother shops for groceries that she doesn't cook. The daughter starves herself to thinness. The gym freak son forages at will. Though this novel is set in the 1970s, it underlines a key point. Want and plenty can be deceptive. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week with the latest This Week, Those Books.